Imagine there is an invisible sub-barrier that has covered a small part of the Earth, meaning no one can come inside it, nor can anyone go out of it. And even if by mistake someone tries to cross this barrier, then their situation will become like this. Now it is obvious that the connection of the people inside the barrier with the rest of the world will be broken. And ultimately it will happen that the people living inside the barrier will start living a primitive lifestyle due to lack of proper technology. And at the same time, the outside world will continue to advance continuously with the help of technology. That is, there will be a world of difference between the people inside and outside this invisible barrier. Now I know you must be thinking that, Gaurav, what is this unreal concept that is being talked about? There is no connection with reality, so even if you find this beauty unreal, but let me tell you, in reality there is an invisible barrier which has separated these two lenses of Indonesia. I'm not kidding. Just take a look at this. It is clearly visible in the map that despite the two islands being at a distance of just 35 kilometers, the animals on them are quite similar to each other. Now let's talk about the oily animals. It is understood that they are from the water present in between. Quran cannot travel, but the surprising thing is that the birds and even the aquatic animals here cannot cross this invisible barrier. So these two islands are two different worlds in themselves, which can be seen by the way. Well, Mr. Wallet was discovered by the uneducated Alfred Russel Wallace, who was a simple insect collector. He is a very interesting character who will reach the level of Charles Darwin. Wells was born on January 8, 1823 in Wales, England. Hence he spent his childhood in a poor family. See, Wallet's only goal was that he had to make a distinct identity for himself in the crowd of Crories by getting educated and also to improve the condition of his family. But due to lack of money to sleep, he had to stop his studies at the age of 6. She left the post, but this incident did not lose her courage at all. And to fulfill her goal, she took the help of her home library because Walrus's father was a surveyor that has traveled to different places and collected maps of those places. He was also a skilled gardener, hence there were many maps and books on gardening in his library, and these books gave Balls a different perspective on nature and biology. He started taking interest in natural history and how all the things of nature evolve. But once, due to poor financial condition, he started ignoring his interests. So much so that he killed his mother and went to live with his brother, and he had to take the decision of joining his father's land servicing business. But he did not know that his decision was going to help him in finding an invisible barrier. Now, just as his situation seemed to be improving, suddenly his brother passed away, and his ready-made family business gets slapped. In this time of trouble, he met Henry Waterbeet. Basically, Bits was an endocologist in simple language, an expert on insects. In this meeting, he introduced the bowlers to his past, after which both of them made a plan to convert this business of theirs into a full-time business. They saw that at that time they were getting very good money for rare species of animals and insects in the Victorian society. And if they had got involved in this business, then the financial condition of Walrus would have improved. They would have improved and perhaps even become famous in the biological world. And that is why in 1848, both Bowlers and Bede started going to Brazil with Shiva to collect rare specimens. After collecting specimens continuously for 4 years in Brazil, when they returned to their home, when he was returning, he was very happy as he had found a rare toucan which no one had seen. Till now, that is, he was simply getting to know everyone. But his happiness did not last long because during his return, unfortunately, today, in his shift, all his specimens were spilled and his dream of becoming famous became just a dream. Well, now I may be looking like a misfortune, but this is where the story of finding his invisible barrier begins. So, after this accident in the same UK with a proper planning on the 18th of April 1954, she set out from England on her second expedition to the Indonesian islands Archipelago. And in this explanation, her first stop was Singapore, from where she proceeded to Sulawesi, the small island of Indonesia. But he was about to die, but his Shiva Chath in Sulawesi was celebrated. And he had to go to nearby Bali, Ireland. And after reaching Bali, he had to go to that place. He found it interesting and started his service and specimen collection there. He studied the plants and animals present there in detail and noted their variety in species and diversity. Then the major animal species he saw were tigers, rhinos, elephants, like animals, and packing birds like Barrett's woodpecker. Then after collecting rare specimens for a few months, he continued his journey and went to Durg, Ireland, just 35 kilometers from Bali, and was shocked to find that he was thousands of kilometers away from Bali through a portal. You have come far because even though, according to geography, Ireland was only 35 kilometers away, there was a world of difference in the animals living on it. There was not even a trace of the animals found in Bali on this new Ireland. Instead, they were monitored here. Such animals as lizards, kangaroo, Colus platypus, and colorful bird species like birds of paradise have appeared. Look, diversity in terrestrial animals sounds logical to some extent because both Bali and Lombok are islands, but they have no logical explanation for the diversity seen in bird species. No, he felt as if there was this line of some invisible, limitless spiritual energy which was preventing the organizations of both the islands from crossover with full force. Then he named this line of invisible energy as Dawal, but unfortunately his new. Even before he could bring his discovery to the world, he got infected with malaria, and this malaria was actually a blessing for him. Due to malaria, bed-rent bowlers had a lot of free time to sleep in the bed of their walls line, which they took advantage of. Without any high-tech equipment, he made this hypothesis which could explain the almost follows line well. So according to him, an imaginary line which is nothing but the region of formation of biogeographical boundary is the region of formation of the Earth's geography, tomorrow's evolution of the Earth in simple words. Due to some geological events that happen nearby, today we can see this boundary, and at this moment it clicked that all the animals found in Bali, like tigers, rhinos, elephants, all go to Asia, and the animals found in Lombok, like monitor results, kangaroo, collage, platypus, all of them go to Australia. On this line of reasoning, he created his own theory in which he said that Bali existed 360 million years ago. At the time, it was connected to Asia and Ireland to Australia, and hence the animals of Asia could easily travel to Bali and the animals of Australia could easily travel to Lombok. But as the front ended, the low-lying areas between them started filling with water and the animals remained there. The friends who were stuck on balance noticed that both the birds that visit the islands are non-migratory. The problem of these non-migratory birds is that their bodies are not adaptable for long-distance flight because, like migratory birds, they fly. They cannot conserve their energy during the day, due to which they travel only a distance of 1 to 10 kilometers in search of food. And as I told earlier, the distance between these two islands is 35 kilometers, which is impossible for them to travel. Now, talking about the beings living in water, they took help to solve their mystery. According to Deep Shikaran, there are very strong deep seekers in this region who are trying to stop these animals from traveling. Their force is so much that this inequality animals have to be prevented from traveling, and so the reason for the separation of terrestrial animals was that these two islands were part of two different continents. The reason for the separation of birds was their being non-migratory, and the reason for the separation of animals was Dipasi currents. Now, friends, if we look at it, his explanation was quite logical, but due to the absence of any scientific backing, the scientific community refused to accept his wallet line. As a result, what happened to him after this was quite difficult for me to digest as well. Just look at this. This is a letter of Charles Darwin written in 1866 in which he is appreciating the importance of walrus, because in 1858 he had written to him about his findings in Indonesia. That is, clearly Dr. One had written with the help of his The Origin of Species book Wallet. But as you can see, there is no mention of Wallace even on the story in this book. In fact, during his research, Wallace gave the concept of evolution by locking the head back, according to which every species evolves from its previous species. And then he told his partner about his career because he felt that Darwin would appreciate him. Now in this state, Darwin deceived Wallace and published his famous theory of evolution derived from this concept and became the father of evolutionary biology. Got the book registered in my name, but the wallet is not enough. He proved unlucky because the theory proving his hypothesis was disproved 50 years after his death, tectonics. So today we believe that plates move due to tectonic activities, but at that time no one believed in the meaning of plate tectonics. Asana is the motion of layers of meaning in language, which has been going on since the time of formation of meaning. Now, after Wallace's move to save time, when this theory was introduced, the first high point of the series was connected to Bali, Asia, and Leberg was connected to Australia. This was proved to be true because when scientists made a model on the activity of tectonic plates, it was clearly visible that Bali and Lambu had separated only after the advance, which produces a strong deep convection current, due to which water also reaches the lava lying inside the crust. Now when this water comes up rapidly as a base, it pushes the crust and creates a place for the lava to come out, and now when the hot lava comes in contact with the water, the gum water of Dipasi, tremendous deep-sea convection is created with the cold water of the upper layer. Due to this, a wall of temperature is formed between the water on both sides, which has a big impact on the travel of aquatic animals. Let us understand this with an example. Suppose you are living in an ocean, whose temperature is minus 200 degrees Celsius, and then a cold/hot current comes in front of you. Then the temperature of the water will either drop or rise, due to which you will not be able to tire in it. And in a way, it is a good thing for the favorability of life. Will create wide, and this is exactly what happened with one animal. But alas, if plate tectonics had been discovered earlier, then the person who gave 1.25 lake plant species, 1,500 insect species, and 2 promising theories would not have died becoming a nobody today. And friends, I think this is true. There is a big disadvantage for scientists because many times their discovery is so groundbreaking as per the time that they do not get credit for it. In fact, no one supports their theory. No one believes in it but some. After years, it becomes proof that what he had said so many years ago is actually true. But that scientist does not remain alive till then. He never gets the reward.